If you want to talk about English conspiracy theorists, they don't come much bigger than David Icke.
Half of families text each other in the same house. Experts say tech craze could have catastrophic effect on family life. What I've been saying through today, one of the major agendas is to destroy the family unit, to drive families apart, like men from women and all these other divisions.
He's released books, DVDs, given lectures, and he's also got a YouTube channel, and boy does he have some material. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Yes, we are taking a look at the infamous David Icke today, and when I first started looking at his channel for something to critique, I came across this. How weird is this one going to get? Let's find out.
Another interesting thing about Saturn. Talk about Saturnalia, this obsession with Saturn. I mean, the Saturn god of the Jewish religion is Israel, Elohim in the Bible and all that. And you know, in the books over the years, I've highlighted the whole concept of massive cataclysms in the solar system.
There haven't been many that I know of. Off the top of my head, maybe about 5. Of course, the largest being the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Which completely changed the locations of entities like Saturn.
Why didn't I see that one coming?
And it kind of sounds crazy because it's different.
No, it sounds crazy because it is unimaginably unlikely.
The idea that Saturn was a son of the Earth.
Yeah, that one sounds crazy because it is.
That the Earth had a dual two-sun system, the one we know now, but also Saturn that was closer and the dominant body in the Earth's sky.
Okay, David has single-handedly removed any doubt that he doesn't know anything about astronomy with that one single sentence right there.
And which was the period of what's called by the ancients the Golden Age. And that the memory of the cataclysmic events that almost did for the Earth and did for Mars in terms of how it is now compared with what it was before.
Okay, so Mars is affected too. What's the word I'm trying to think of, Jaron?
Interesting.
You know, the science sees everything in terms of phenomenal amounts of what we call time. So they accept that, you know, Mars was devastated, but it was like an extraordinary amount of time ago.
We have actual data that shows Mars's atmosphere degrades with solar radiation. We've used that to come up with a highly likely scenario as to what has happened to Mars.
I say it wasn't, and you know, other people in the past have said it wasn't, and have got the treatment.
Oh right, okay, so because you and a few other people disagree with that, then it's wrong, is it? Right, well, I disagree that Scooby-Doo was a dog. That now means that my opinion is true.
Of course, from the mainstream, people like Immanuel Velikovsky. Velikovsky wrote a series of books in the 50s, 60s, in which Worlds in Collision was one of them, in which he proposed from his research that this great cataclysm, one of the effects of it was to have an enormous explosion on Saturn, which basically turned it into what it's become.
There is literally no evidence of that whatsoever.
And the location launched it into where it is now, when it was before the major dominant body in the Earth's sky.
Again, no evidence for this. Don't get me wrong, Saturn does appear as a brightest star in the sky, but dominant it was not.
And, you know, people might ask, why so many ancient societies worshipped Saturn?
I think you are confusing Saturn, the ancient Roman god and its equivalents, with the planet that was named after said gods.
I mean, if Saturn was always where it is now, why would people worship Saturn? You can't even bloody see it, hardly. Just a dot in the night sky among so many other dots.
Well, not strictly true. As I said, Saturn looks like a bright star when it's visible. The more observant of the ancients would have noticed this brightish star moving in comparison to the stars behind it. And there weren't many of these wandering stars.
But it became a focus of religion and the god, and not least in Rome.
Hang on, are you saying that the planet name came first? Because if you are, you've lost any credibility that you had when you started. Fun fact as well, the day Saturday was also named after the planet Saturn. Oh, sorry, I mean the god.
Velikovsky suggests that the Earth water, Earth seas, came from Saturn as a result of this. It's just a story he describes in detail, obviously.
People read random books and then peddle them as the truth. Always baffles me, that one. I mean, can you imagine people reading Antonio Subrat's book and taking that as the truth? What a society we'd have then. Review on this one coming soon, people.
But it's a story of chemical reactions and goodness knows what else that produce the Earth water. And where I'm going with this is that it's now been found that the water in the rings of Saturn and on the moons of Saturn is the same, basically, as the water on Earth.
Now actually this one is true, and it's more about the ratio of the isotopes in the hydrogen part of water. They're very similar. Now this actually gives us more clues about the solar system's formation.
And that, according to the physics of the two bodies, that should not be.
Nowhere in physics does it say that.
This is a quote from physics.org or phys.org about this information that's come to light. It means we need, it says, to change models of the formation of the solar system because the new results are in conflict with existing models. Models for the formation of the solar system indicate that the chemical balance of this water should be much higher in the colder outer solar system than in the hotter inner system where Earth was formed.
And this is an important point that I don't want to gloss over. This is how science works. We don't get it right first time every time. We hone our theories based on evidence and information that we get at each given point. And before you flat earthers jump on that, all of your evidence is a load of rubbish.
And over the years, as I've been writing about this, of course, I go into Saturn in very great detail in some books. The information is being teased out gradually that this idea, which sounds so incredible at first hearing, it may not be as incredible at all. Deuterium, this physics article says, deuterium is more abundant in cold molecular clouds. Some models predict that the DH, deuterium hydrogen, should be 10 times higher for the Saturn system than on Earth, but the new measurements show that this is not the case for Saturn's rings and its satellites, except for one, the Saturn moon Phoebe.
But none of that means that Saturn used to be a second sun for Earth, does it? David finishes his video by reading even more articles that prove absolutely nothing to do with his Saturn is a second sun theory. In fact, I don't think he's produced any evidence for it. I'm sure this won't be the last time that we take a look at David Icke, and I'm actually quite scared to see what else he's got in his locker. Right, that brings another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday to a satisfying close. If you liked it, then please do drop a like and subscribe as well. I have been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a great week, and I'll see you all on Friday, where we bump into another old friend. See you all then.